Chobham in Surrey, heart of the home counties. Down the road to Great Windsor Park, over the hill to Royal...
We have these sort of experiences around Baba, and they've had people who've been speaking in other languages. And anyway, it was old hat to them.
All Baba's devotees are eager to tell their own story of his impact on them. Kathy McCormack was an academic. Now she lectures on Baba's yoga.
Something hit me. It was as though a sonic boom had occurred just above my head. And I don't know exactly how to describe it, except that a level of my being was opened that I never knew existed. It was absolutely incredible. Tremendous love, tremendous ecstasy. And this went on for about 2 weeks. I mean, I was a complete basket case. It was all I could do to put one foot in front of the other. You know, I mean, I tried to be a very controlled person. I very much dislike freaking out in front of other people. So it was about 2 weeks before I could chant without weeping. You know, I mean, it was a terribly, terribly profound experience, and I found that it never leaves.
The claims sound extreme. To us, the very idea of a guru is exotic. But to much of the world's population, the belief in living spiritual teachers is a commonplace, and their influence a matter of record. Even politicians have had such a reputation, as did Mahatma Gandhi, or Meher Baba, the silent master, or the yogi Ramana Maharishi, or Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the teacher of transcendental meditation, who recently met Baba in Switzerland and acknowledged that he'd reached the highest possible level of spiritual attainment. Baba himself left home at 15 to search for the direct experience of God. He became a monk and received his religious name Muktananda, which means bliss of freedom. He met and lived with many of India's holy men and gurus and claims to have mastered many forms of yoga. But in spite of all this, he said that his search only bore fruit when, after 25 years of wandering, he met his own guru, Bhagawan Nityananda, who transmitted the force that awakened him. The force is called Shakti. Muktananda's feeling for his guru seems to be the equivalent of the feeling that a devout Christian has for Christ. The guru is seen as the perfect one, the one who shows in his person the essential divine nature of the whole of the universe. The North Indian town of Ganeshpuri, near Bombay, grew up around Bhagawan Nityananda's ashram. And when Nityananda died, the focus of attention turned to Baba's ashram on a nearby hillside. It grew from a small group of huts to its present scale. A prominent feature in Baba's ashram is the statue and shrine of Nityananda, where reverence is still offered daily. But here there's no doubt that it's Muktananda himself who is Lord of all he surveys. The place and its life is seen as an extension of the Guru's inner state. The ashram is a complete environment. It provides work and lodging and is constantly being extended and beautified. Everything is done absolutely in accordance with the precepts of the master, who is provider and administrator as well as teacher. Through surrender to this discipline, devotees believe that their own inner state comes closer to that of their guru. So the guru's role is twofold. First, to awaken the disciples' spiritual energy, and then to guide them through what may be a long process of maturing until they share the guru's spiritual awareness. This whole process is called Siddha Yoga.
Siddha Yoga is an internal process rather than an external technique. Many people are familiar with the different forms of Kundalini Yoga that are practiced under an external teacher. He may have you concentrate on different chakras of the body, different energy centers. He may give you different breathing exercises to perform, may have you do different Hatha Yoga postures, and so on. But in Siddha Yoga, this all happens spontaneously as the result of the touch of the Guru, or as a result of receiving the Guru's grace, shaktipat. You often hear many people immediately begin automatically to do this pranayama. Some people do automatic Hatha Yoga postures. When it's called for, it occurs. You see, the Guru actually transmits his own consciousness into you, you see, and it's fully intelligent and continues to function inside you.
come to the focus of the Swami's visit. 2 days of intensive spiritual exercises. Everyone has been urged to keep their attention directed within, to meditate on their own inner being, and not to be distracted by what may happen around them, because now is the time at which the most concentrated effect of the Guru's presence may be felt, the awakening of Kundalini by the Guru's touch.
So remember, one thing Baba will do is to breathe into your nostrils. That's the way he has of giving shaktipat. That's the energy of his breath, his life forces that he's breathing into you. So all you have to remember at that time is to breathe in, to take it all in.
After the ceremony, there's a session when the participants share with each other what they experienced in the meditation.
By the time meditation was finished, I was so heavily
into the meditation that I had spontaneous silence. When I came out, I didn't feel like talking to anyone at all, but just resting very peacefully, very quietly in my inner self. And that was a very important experience for me, because I tend to talk a lot to people and to relate to people very much straight like this, looking at them and talking to them. And it was a very beautiful thing for me to be able to just sit in my inner self and watch the kind of relationships which developed with other people all around me while I was sitting in this very peaceful inner place.
After a few minutes, this image seemed to come in like a kind of airplane at me, you know, from very, very way down. It kind of went boom, like that, flat on my head. And it was an image of it seemed from a very, very, very long time ago, you know. And it was an image of a girl, a little girl. Or it could have been a boy. I thought it might have been my half-brother who died, but I don't think it was anybody really. It was just a little girl sitting on a wall, like as if it had been an old photograph taken. And she was leaning towards the camera like that, looking really very happy, you know, very, very happy. And I looked at it, and I couldn't stand it because it was so happy, you know. And it was as if all the resentment that I felt that other people's having through my life, because of the memory of this very primally happy person, you know. I'm not describing this very well. Anyway, after that, I went into that room and I completely broke down. And when I recovered, after that, it was, I had a very kind of hallucinogenic experience for 12 hours, right and through until the next morning, where the whole world went extremely pretty, not beautiful, pretty. And everything was very precise and pretty, and the colours were all pink and yellow and very three-dimensional. And that lasted really until...
The atmosphere is so highly charged that the outsider can't help wondering if this isn't just the triggering off of pent-up emotions, which sometimes trip over into hysteria, and if enlightenment isn't just a form of neurosis. And if it is something else, how is it different from these psychological disorders? We put this question to an educational psychologist from the University of Michigan, who's been associated with Muktananda and watched this effect many times.
What is it that makes it different and makes it other, what makes it not a hysteria, not a... You begin to see that people's lives change in a positive way. And that's a little vague, but what I mean by that, and it's vague because I'm talking about a whole group of people at once, but what I mean by that is that in the hysteria, it just goes on and on and on and on, and the person literally starts, their lives start to disintegrate, start to crumble. Whereas with this, it doesn't go on and on and on, there's more crumbling and more crumble. What happens is, it happens, it's over with, the person understands something to that, and they rise to a higher level. They get clearer on life. They feel more connected to their world, not more alienated. You know, when you're talking about psychology and different manifestations, disorders, essentially you're talking about being alienated from the world. And what I see all the time are people getting more and more in touch with their world, being able to move in situations that they never were able to move in before, being able to relate to people that they could never relate to before, being able to just be and live life the way that they could never do it before. So all of those things are things that, from a psychologist's point of view, you have to say, this is different.
I spend a lot of time with Hindus and Muslims and Sikhs, but this was slightly different. I've not seen people, a bit like the old Quakers, I think, quaking. And I was sort of thinking back in terms of history, what their experiences were.
But would you say that there was an enthusiasm which is perhaps lacking in the established church this morning?
I think this sort of freshness and liberation is growing everywhere, amongst all religious people, as we're moving away from doctrine. When people said, this is what you must believe, this is what you must do, we're moving, and we're all probing and seeking, which is much healthier, really.
And our
Perhaps a fresh sense of openness and contact between people of different religious traditions and different spiritual experience is indicated by the fact that the Archbishop of Canterbury sent to welcome Baba his special representative, the Secretary of the Church of England Commission for Interfaith Relations, Canon Peter Schneider. The Canon was offered the significant courtesy of a chair at the same level as the Guru.
We do not feel we have all the answers.
हमको ऐसा लगता नहीं कि हमारे पास सब उत्तर है.
But it is my experience that as I begin to understand men of other faiths, I understand more of God and even more of my own faith.
It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing.
And I hope I would be very grateful to hear from you, Reverend Father, what you think we should do to further this understanding in this country as well as abroad.
The
thing which man wants to increase or progress, first of all, he himself should improve and progress. Then it's very easy to do what he wants to do. The bud of flower should blossom, and then the fragrance will spread on its own. You don't have to make an attempt to make the fragrance spread all over. Now, I respect all religions. Now, why should they create a war on the name of religion?
आज अपने को सबसे अधिक ईश्वर बंधुत्व का बहुत जरूरी.
These days, mainly, it's very necessary to have universal brotherhood.
आपका बड़े सम्मान भी करता हूँ मैं.
I also respect you, and I'm very grateful to you because you have taken your time to get here.
It's from answers given in interviews and open audiences that the Swami's teachings can be gleaned. Such events are recorded and much has been published. But most of the teaching is for those already initiated into his meditation. How does he describe his work to the outsider? Why do people give their whole lives to him? What is the essence of his message? We had our opportunity to ask.
Many thousands of people receive something from your teaching. They have tried to tell me what it is. Will you tell me?
मैं बोलता तुम जो खुशी को और प्रेम को
I say happiness and love, that you are looking outside and putting forth a lot of effort. Still, you're not able to find them. So I tell them to look within and meditate a bit, and then they'll find those things right within themselves. And also, I haven't come here with a particular special religion, and also I don't preach religion. Just as sleep doesn't belong to any religion, it is your own thing, it's your own property. In the same way, meditation is your own independent thing.
But people give the whole of their lives to you. You control the whole of their lives. They have told me so.
लोग बोलते हो कि अपने कुछ वो पूरा जीवन.
Many people say that, and maybe they give their lives to me. But the thing is, I have my perfect life with me. I also give my life to them as much as they're able to hold it or take it. Also, this is the bargain goes on.
But are you conscious of directing the activities of your devotees? Directing their lives completely?
It's not that I keep them with me all the time. You know, I send them to do their own work too.
फिर क्या सारे दुनिया में फिरते हम सभी को साथ में ही रखे तो कितना होगा और कहाँ रख सकते.
I travel all around people. I travel all around the world. And so many people meet me, and if I try to keep all of them with me, where I can keep them?
25 आता तो 25 जाता.
If 25 come to me, then 25 go away, after learning something.
Swamiji, you can, by a touch or a look, I am told, awaken a force in people.
ऐसा एक योग है हमारे.
Yes,
उसको सिद्ध योग बोलते हैं।
That is my yoga and it's called Siddha Yoga, the perfect yoga.
हमारे कि वो अनादि परंपरा
This tradition has come down from the beginning of the time. It's not a new thing, you know, like people write new books and tell new things, but this is a very old, ancient tradition.
Some people receive this and some do not.
Well,
Is this as a result of your choice?
कुछ को अनुभूति जल्दी पकड़ लेता है श्रद्धा भक्ति से।
Some people experience this immediately because of
तुरंत
and instantly because of faith and devotion.
और कुछ को देर से मगर वो व्यर्थ जाता नहीं, वो अनुभूति आता ही।
And some people experience this later, but still it doesn't go to waste.
कुछ को अंतर होने से अनुभूति समझता है।
And some people don't experience this immediately because it happens in the inner level. So, say after 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, they experience this, and then it dawns on them that, oh, this is the Shakti, or force that I'm experiencing.
Shall I receive this force, having met you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's likely. You will.
It's likely. It seems uncertain.
बोलते कि मिल जाएगा उसका मतलब पूरा निश्चित नहीं.
मिल जाएगा शब्द निश्चित है, मगर फिर भी ऐसा बोलना पड़ता मिल जाएगा।
It is certain when I say that you will, because I have to say it that way, you know.
मिलेंगे।
You might.
It is certain, but he has to say it in that way.
You might, yeah.
I don't understand.
क्या बोलते हैं कि ये निश्चित है, लेकिन आपको इस तरह बोलना पड़ता है, तुम्हें समझ नहीं है।
एक बोलने का स्वभाव है।
That's the way I say it. That's my nature.
And we must accept it.
It's not easy to tie Baba down to definitions. There's no feeling of deception about him, but neither is there any way in which he can make us understand by explanation the experiences that people around him undoubtedly have. Some have been overwhelmed by his touch, many have felt the whole meaning of their lives to be changed. And to report honestly on Baba's teaching, it's not enough simply to listen with sympathy, to open oneself to what he offers. It's important to observe the effect he has on others.
I like him, I don't like his henchmen too much.
Why?
The first day I came here, the day before yesterday, I got really angry by people telling me what to do all the time. I tried to get out of there one time, they wouldn't let me out, I just had to force my way out in the end. And the guy came out and gave me a hell of a bollocking about it, like saying, what do you think you're doing? You can't get out of there.
I think he has what they say he does, which is to light your candle from his candle. And I'm willing to believe that.
He's my father, he's my mother, he's my brother, he's my friend, he's my guru. Everything. He plays all the roles.
ये गुरु ज्ञान बताई कारे बन बन को जन जाय नानक देव गुरु नानक.
There's no doubt that a lot of the emotionalism that surrounds Baba has all the trappings of a personality cult. His picture hangs garlanded on the wall. They even say that by just a look at his photograph, you can receive shaktipat, the instant enlightenment. As for myself, well, I have to admit that so far the Guru's touch hasn't produced any sudden upsurge of cosmic awareness. But even without that, I do accept that he didn't come to England to milk the youth of the privileged middle classes by wrapping them up in saris and Eastern mysticism. And also I accept that his basic message, that God dwells within you, look there, is important as a meeting ground between those committed to both Eastern and Western faiths. A committed Roman Catholic who left her position as professor at Boston University to work with Baba is Charity James. Now, are you saying that you hadn't realized that there was something missing from your life, but then you discovered there was?
Yes, that's very good. That's very interesting. I've always been, I don't like to say a practicing Christian, because it's such a difficult thing to practice anything, but I've always been a serious one, I think, with good times of atheism mixed up, you know, because I think it always happens if you're serious. And I didn't really think that I needed a living teacher, a living master, as well as our Lord, who meant a great deal to me and still does. And that's really why I thought, I'd heard about him, and I heard the name Muktananda, somebody told me, and I thought, well, if ever I need a guru, which thank God I won't, that would be the one. You know, of course, that was the fatal moment, I think. From then on, it all happened. Yeah.
At that moment, you didn't. You just said
I didn't. I thought no, and I thought I'm very interested in the idea that the East and West must come together, and that the East and Western spirituality, that man is at a stage of a very great spiritual advance. I believe at the end of this century, it's a tremendously important time, and that one of the aspects of this would be a coming together of East and Western spirituality. And I had an idea that I needed to do that in my own life.
But you didn't find any conflict here. You were attending Mass regularly, you were a serious and thinking Christian, and you accepted that I am the way, the truth and the life.
Yes,
no one
I
comes
do.
to the Father but by me. And yet there was something missing in it.
Yes, there was something missing.
What was that missing quality that Baba felt?
Well, it is the having a living teacher. It is the ability to see in our time, in my life, somebody who has reached transcendence. I do see that Baba is in the state of eternal bliss, permanent bliss that he describes, that he is all-knowing and everywhere and all-powerful. I mean, I can see that man can, who has followed a deeply serious spiritual path, as you know, his was very, very long and very, very hard, that he can become like that, and I can too. And of course I know it's there in the Bible, but be perfect, you know, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. But I didn't really ever think that this was something that applied to me.
I've noticed that people, when talking about Baba, tend to slip into hyperbole, and you're just doing precisely that. You're saying that he's all-pervading, that he's all-knowing. Now, are you abandoning your intelligence in using these words? Are you using them in a different sense from the way you normally use them? Or do you really believe that he is all-knowing and transcendent?
I really believe that he's all-knowing and transcendent. I experience it with so many. He has hundreds of thousands of followers all over the world. Everyone senses themselves or herself in complete contact with him. If you ask him a question, if you write him a letter, he knows immediately not only what state of mind you're in, but also all the circumstances. And it's very interesting when he answers a question in the hall, he will give answer that is totally appropriate to the heart of the person he's answering. And yes, I believe that he is. I think we all can be like that.
Do you see yourself now as someone striding two cultures and aware of both? Or do you see that your own culture, your own Christianity has been deepened by your contact with Baba?
I feel that my own Christianity has been deepened. I don't feel any need now to try any of the others. I know that Baba would deepen the understanding of Sufis, Buddhists, or Muslims as he's deepened mine of my own. So I'm quite satisfied just to continue to go to church and continue to love our Lord, and to continue to come to and to run a centre for Baba, and to continue to love him, and not to feel that there's any division there at all, to feel quite united.
अभी उधर भी ध्यान करना, जहाँ रहते हो वहाँ लोगों को भी जरा ध्यान में बैठाना। ये अच्छा 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 वो तो बहुत मदद किया उनको अमेरिका से मिला था।
उसका पत्र आया था कि पापा आ रहे हैं तो
बहुत अच्छी